So obviously there's the big news in Houston right now. Obviously with the Houston Rockets, James Harden, he wants out of Houston. There's been some rumors that he could maybe get traded to the Nets. I think those rumors definitely have died down as the season is kind of, starting to really get into full circle. I don't expect James Harden to be a part of the Nets, but hey, we've seen a whole lot of crazier things. I could definitely be wrong. I definitely will welcome James Harden. I definitely will kind of give my thoughts on, the James Harden trade if it were to potentially, if it were to potentially come into fruition, Harden right now is not happy in Houston. He's obviously seeing the writing on the wall. Their championship window has kind of closed. They've got some good pieces, but not quite enough to win a championship. He definitely wants to win a title. He says he wants to win a title, but, we'll see if he can put that into action one day. But, what are your thoughts on a potential James Harden trade? Is this something that you would entertain? Do you want it to happen potentially? What are kind of some of your initial thoughts about on James Harden and some of the things being said about a potential trade to Brooklyn?
Honestly, when I first heard the news that he was interested in going to the Nets, I was very surprised, and I was like, maybe not. I think I'm cool on James Harden, but now that I've continued to think about it and news has continued to come out about how unhappy he is, and we've all seen on social media what he's doing and where he's at and all of these things. Things don't work out this year, I will be a lot more open to going to go get James Harden. I just think they would have to give up too much. And I don't want to have to give up Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, and maybe Joe Harris and other guys. That's just giving up too much for James Harden, who can leave in 2 years. It's just not enough. But like I said, if the Nets don't reach the finals or the Eastern Conference Finals this year, I think that would be a move that they would have to look into doing and get over that hump, because you never know how long Kyrie and KD are going to be here.
Yeah, I understand some of your points right there. I will say, when it comes to getting James Harden on the roster, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. If you can get him on the roster, definitely go do it. Maybe you could give up Kyrie Irving in the trade, or if he can stay with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, I'd ask the question, what three-man duo is more talented? There's not a more three-man talented trio than Durant, Harden, and Kyrie Irving. I do think that definitely would, provide the Nets having, a lot of firepower on offense, they really be unstoppable. I understand there's the whole situation about who's going to get the ball in this situation, who's going to get the ball in that situation. Can Durant, Harden and Kyrie be the distributors? But people, James Harden, he's at worst a top 10 player. He's hungry for a championship. If you add James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets, whether Kyrie Irving is there or not, Kevin Durant's not going anywhere. You're not going to trade that guy. Whether you add him to Kyrie Irving or Karis LeVert, Joe Harris or not, it just kind of feels like a title. And I think that the Brooklyn Nets are probably going to win a championship. Actually, not probably. They're going to win a championship. I'm just going to go out there and be bold about it. They're going to win a championship with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. I think James Harden would definitely put them over the top. And like you said, if things were to maybe not work out this year, that could be a trade we could explore. I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't really see it. I actually could see Harden going to the Clippers, because it kind of makes a little more sense for the Rockets to kind of get a guy like Paul George, because they just got John Wall. They're not going to want Kyrie Irving and whatnot, So I think that if they can trade him to the Clippers, that'd probably be a better spot for Harden. Also the 76ers. But hey, I'm not going to complain if James Harden definitely comes to Brooklyn and whatnot. I just want to kind of see what role players are going to leave. I don't really want to get rid of a guy like Joe Harris, but again, you might have to get rid of him to get a guy like James Harden. But, we'll see, man. We'll see. Any more extra thoughts you have?
I think everything you said was just facts. It's going to be tough. It's hard to pass up on somebody like James Harden, because he can do so much. If they all three was to lock in and defend, and if they were able to build something around him, maybe get a lot of guys on vet mins, and then you can do something. But with three guys like that, it's hard to say that they can't win a championship. It's hard to say that they can't.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people kind of overthought when Kevin Durant actually came to Golden State. You know, they said, oh, they got rid of all the depth. It's going to flop. LeBron and Kyrie, they're going to win the championship, and wasn't close. So I'm just going to say it again. Don't overthink it. If you can get James Harden, go get James Harden. But if you can't get James Harden, it's not the end of the world. This team is still very good. And I think this team is definitely a championship contender without James Harden and whatnot. And I will say there is something to be said for, you know, knowing who the guys are. Because we saw LeBron James, Anthony Davis this past year, you know, in Los Angeles. Everyone said, oh, they have no depth. KCP's trash. Danny Green can't hit a three. LeBron and Anthony Davis are great, but they've got no one. Well, it pretty much was LeBron, Anthony Davis. They're going to give you 60 to 70 points per game each night between the two, and whoever contributes is going to contribute. So that's kind of how I think about it with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. As long as we just say, hey, Kyrie, Kevin Durant, you're going to get your shots, and let's see what else happens, you know. So that's kind of how I feel about that, you know. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.